Good morning, class. Time to make some AracKnight comic books. So, we are now in chapter 2. We've written a 24-page comic book together through 12 classes. We are now in chapter 2, so we'll be doing pages 9 and 10 today. Where's our script? All right, quick recaps of what we've gone so far. Leading into chapter 2, of course, we've gone across the city skyline again, where we've had J. Jonah Jameson talking over the city. We introduce Jonah now in this particular chapter. We introduce Peter's job, flirting with Betty Brand, our busty madman-esque secretary, for our Don Draper-like J. Jonah Jameson, which we base on Stan Lee, which was loosely based on J. Jonah Jameson. You see how it all washes each other. We've got the gangsters. We did an homage to Batman the Animated Series, my favorite show growing up, but having Spider-Man interluded there, then being attacked while breaking up a heist. Spider-Man, of course, has a cool action scene on top of a dirigible, old school blimps. As he foils the gang, he tries to jump into the cockpit, but he sees there is a booby trap, which means that our sinister organization, the Spectre, if you will, knows about him. He's starting to get himself some coverage in the press, and of course, Jonah is against him. So Peter originally takes the job thinking that working for Now magazine and J. Jonah Jameson will help him get further along to figure out who the hell is behind all this menacing and ransom of the Mars colony, which is going to be piloted by our Fantastic Four astronauts. We're basically just doing our own little version of the Marvel Universe. We're trying to start it here, the Genesis being the AracKnight to be the Batman of our particular MCU universe, because we're trying to prep ourselves as both teachers and students for the inevitable conclusion that Marvel Disney is going to implode, and at some point, someone's going to come in and get these IPs back and try to, I guess, rebuild them, reboot them. Because if we're looking at the way we feel it's going, they're still doubling down on the woke, and it feels like maybe they'll stop, or maybe they'll just implode. We're all rooting for James Gunn and Superman, as we hope there is new. It's like when you grow up a wrestling fan. You want WCW to be good, even though you hate them, because you want WWE to have to step up and be the competition. And then one day WWE buys WCW and ECW, and then wrestling sucks. So you can't cry about it. You have to find new things to be interested in. So again, we've got Peter foiling the looter here. When we last caught up here, again, we have Peter interviewing at Now Magazine. He's hired as a photographer. Of course, Jonah's asking him how he gets all those cool aerial shots. Peter will tell him that he's got a lot of money, and he's got access to some high-tech drones and a rooftop apartment. We're rewriting the Spider-Man origin with the Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne, James Bond-esque like twist. We're also introducing the idea that this city is called Empire City, and that it might just be the last remaining bastion of a country that was torn apart by civil war. We make allusions, but until we're taking Peter out of Empire City, which I don't plan to do, at least in this particular graphic novel, we make allusions to the idea that a civil war tore up the rest of the country, that New York Empire City kind of seceded from the entire country, both the Union and the Confederacy, and became its own city. This is a cyberpunk kind of Blade Runner-esque city that we're dealing with. Maybe a little Batman Beyond we can mix in there. So we're using tech, but not so much tech as that it clouds the story. I can't stand too much tech because, again, you can become a lazy writer and then you just say everything's technology. Oh, well, this is just technology. He's got cool technology. If you're not willing to have mythology behind your technology, you're a shitty writer. Never be a lazy fucking writer. Okay, that's what happens. And you think, well, some of these lazy writers make good money. They're all fucking drug addicts. They hate their lives. They hate themselves because they know they're fucking phonies. Great writing comes from great living. See these fucking scars on my face? I didn't get here for free. The stories behind the scars is what sells the books, and the art is the big titties and the great ass. All right, that being said, let's get caught up here. All right, so what we got to caught up to? So, we explained it to you. Spider-Man takes a job from Now Magazine, figuring this will be his climb up the ladder, but it turns out when he interviews with Jonah, he realizes that Jonah doesn't know anything either. So he's like, well, this is a waste of time, but Uncle Ben's telling him, nah, I'm telling you, now you have a corporate sponsor. You and I were trying to investigate who was behind this ransom on the Mars colony. They want 10 billion, I think it was 50 billion we had in gold bullion, or they're going to sabotage the launching of the Mars colony, which is the big event in Empire City, the big MacGuffin for our storyline, where Spider-Man has to foil the chameleon, who of course will be the lead villain in our particular story. Our Dr. No, if you will. And that might evolve. We might end up throwing Dr. Octopus in there. We've alluded to Dr. Octopus, but at the same time, this could be the fucking chameleon just playing an entire hoax on the city. We evolved the story as a class, as the teacher and the instructors, you at home. You do your homework. Today it's Spider Man's 37, 38. If we don't get our 12 panels, we'll keep going. We keep delving into the Spider Man lore in a particular order so that we almost let fate and destiny dictate where our stories go. And again, you can do your own thing. I'm just providing the blueprint. That's what I do. So we leave off. We throw the looter in as kind of like a throwaway squash match where he's trying to get away with a meteor. In Amazing Spider-Man 36, you had that shitty villain, the looter, who just basically hammered a fucking meteor, got hit with some fucking space dust, and got superpowers. We have him gliding across the sky on his cycle, getting away from the cops, trying to get away, and as he's about to drop the hammer inside his meteor, Spider-Man fucking spear tackles him, fucking Goldberg style. And he's about to swing with him to take him to the cops. Someone cuts his line. As we close in on Spider-Man swinging across the sky with his captive, the looter, he'll be interrupted. Close-up shots show someone shoot a projectile that slices Spider-Man's web line. S-effects of the slicing web line. So we get up here. We are in pages 9 and 10. That is our goal today as a class. 6 panels a page. We may go over, we may go under. 12 panels, 12 lines of dialogue at least. And that's our class. You get to go home. All right, let's see what we leave off here. With his line cut, Peter crashes into a wall or dumpster. He'll be confronted by what looks like Kraven the Hunter, who will soon reveal himself as the chameleon, the one who killed Peter's parents. He will fuck with Peter until backing off, almost disappearing as Ben pulls up to save Peter, having monitored what happened to him during his takedown of the looter. The effect of Kraven disappearing and Ben showing up to save Peter after his crash. Kind of like Ben Kenobi. Remember in Empire Strikes Back? Ben! You know what I mean? That could be fun. Chameleon needs to get close to Peter because his molding and disguise are based on touch. He has to touch someone before he can mimic their likeness, like a deepfake. I never liked the idea that the chameleon could be just anybody, almost like Mystique. Because then again, it's too broad of a scale when you're writing. You just get away too easy. You have to have limitations on certain powers because that's what makes the characterization. So, the chameleon we're deciding, and again, that can change. His powers, whatever his mutation is based on touch. He can touch somebody, he can become them. I gotta get water because my fucking throat's dry. Schwebevesses. All right. All right. All right, so we just got the line cut. Peter crashes in a wall or dumpster. Let's move it. Let's move our notes. With his line cut, Peter crashes into a wall. SFX of crashing. No, I just to keep copy pasting. Just move this to the next page. There it is. Get a little jazz music on in the background. If I play music, of course, I'll be whatever that stupid bullshit YouTube rules are. Spider-Man then rolls into a dumpster, which turns and crashes. SFX of the crashing. Always underline your SFX for your letterer. It's always good to go over a nice little coding with your letterer so you're doing less edits. Always spell check too, because when you have to spell check your fucking letter, it's annoying. You have to write, have to always write bubble two, page three, panel four, bubble two, line four. You can avoid a lot of that. But again, you'll always have to get a hold of your letter because you might want to space a line out. One thing I had to explain to him was every time I make he was putting all the dialogue in just one big giant box for a while. That was pissing me the fuck off. And I realized I had to code it for him. So what I said was every time I have a new line, make a new box. Sometimes it's obvious to you, but you got to make it obvious to your letterers. Never think everybody's thinking what you're thinking. Otherwise, it's all about porn. With his line cut, Peter crashes into a wall. Spider-Man then rolls into a dumpster, which turns and crashes. Collapsed in a heap, a big heap on the ground, as neon images zip by his head. Spider-Man tries to get his bearings while he hears a familiar voice. Looking up from his haze, Spider-Man sees what appears to be Kraven, a hunter, stalking over him. Spider-Man will attempt to strike up at him, but in his weakened state, Kraven will electro shock him. That's effects of the electroshock. See, here you can have Chameleon almost like talking shit. If you don't want to drag it out, you can have him reveal himself right fucking here. We're doing like an all-star Spider-Man type of class. We want to just get through the greatest hits and get to the good shit and just mine what we can and just say, yeah, it's kind of cheesy. We just need this one fucking part that we can just twist into this. It's essentially what we do as writers. We twist what exists into our own creative imagination. Turn duty into diamonds. Spider-Man will attempt to strike up at him, but in his weakened state, Kraven will electroshock him. X effects of the electroshock. Oh, God, I hate when it does that. Kraven will choke Spider-Man and taunt him. And the idea will be Spider-Man will try to leap at him. He'll kind of just like disappear, and Ben will come through the haze. As Ben pulls up to save Peter. Yeah, so we still have all this. Let's play around with this. Let's get a little inspiration in the current issue. We have our art lined up. We might change this, so let's see what we come up with as we go through the archives. Spider-Man 37. The first appearance of Norman Osborn, the man would be revealed to be the Green Goblin. The release of the Robot Master. After Professor Mendel Strom is let out of jail, Spider-Man keeps close tabs on his former foe. What is Strom's connection to Norman Osborn? And what is the robot master planning in his newfound freedom? Oh, good lord. Oh, the Spider Slayers. Can't say I'm a big fan. Once upon a time, there was a robot. That stupid looking fucking star robot? Alright, so let's just play around here. Professor Strom, your sentence is over. At last I'm free. This was the guy that was setting up all the robots to kill Spider Man. Max Strom. Glad to see you, Strom. I got everything you all set like you wanted. Do not forget yourself, Max. You will always address me as Professor. I knew my old cellmate would be getting out today. He's being picked up by another ex-inmate named Max Young. They must have made some plans while in prison. Foswell. All right, so we got Foswell here. Good old Frederick Foswell. We don't have the reporter character yet, but he's somebody to play around with. The guy watching the professor must be a stoolie. They're heading for town. I better follow. There may be a story in it for me. So Foswell's found in some mystery guy. Oh, and then Spider-Man's here too. So we not only just have Spider-Man. Oh wait, so Spider-Man's knocking out the fucking guy that's trying to kill Strom. Why are you trying to ventilate Foswell? I said talk. I didn't mean it. I just hoped the professor would let me join him. I thought I could prove useful. You're gonna be useful, all right, but follow me, mister. Oh, I see. It's always cute that Spider-Man puts on the hat. This is a cool little touch of just showing off the personality, which again is what made him so endearing to us. That's why we reread and reread these fucking stars, these fucking books. They wouldn't have seen me if you're not speeding. Use your spider power. Get rid of him. That license number, the stolen car. So obviously someone's following Strom. Peter swings out. He's swinging around the school. He's swinging around the city. He sees good old J. Jonah Jameson, who's searching for Frederick Foswell. He's talking to all his new secretaries. They all quit. They all hate him. He's trying to sell him some pictures. Betty leaves. Foswell's chasing a story. He's an ex-cellmate of mine, a mechanical genius. Released from jail today, he's been threatening revenge for years on the men who set him up. There's a big story I tried to follow him, but he gave me the slip. So again, we have a good old-fashioned kind of detective story. Peter puts a spider tracer on him. We have, again, the mystery guy. Someone's trying to kill good old Professor Strom. Professor Strom builds robots. For 10 years, I've dreamed of this moment. I've dreamed of getting my revenge on the man who cheated me out of my inventions. Which, of course, we shall learn and reveal later on that it is Norman Osborn. I have this idea of bringing in Norman Osborn as the mayor of New York, of Empire City, the guy who's like running things. Our billionaire mayor, our Bloomberg, our Trump, so you will. But again, if we can't bring anything new to it, there's no point in doing it. We got to be new. We are the alternate Spider-Man story. Doesn't mean everything has to be different for the sake of being different, but it has to challenge you as a storyteller. You can't just say Norman Osborn, Rich, Oscorp, Green Goblin. That's boring. Any idiot can do that. What makes us special as writers, as creators? We have the Peter Gwen dynamic here. She goes to hit him. He blocks her. She's in the ground. Peter takes off. Gwen realizes that maybe there is more to Peter than meets the eye. She's actually starting to be into him. This is fun to read when you're a kid because anyone that ever had a crush on a blonde would always fantasize, that the blonde was like Gwen Stacy. Now we got this little stupid ass robot. This I always hate it. I hate it takes you out of it. The robot's stupid because again, when I read comic books, I try to picture it actually happening, and I'm not picturing this little stupid fucking crawly robot. This would be like a bad CGI thing connection happening. The guard shoots at it. Fucking Strom. He's telling it to go here. Although the only cool thing is again we have it a drone thing. So what can we get out of this? Can we get a good creepy crawly drone camera? But if our drone cameras are too advanced, it takes away Spider-Man getting in close to do shit. The Spider-Man swings away. He ends up fighting a stupid little fucking robot. Robot throws him here. Robot throws him there. Tangles around him. Jumps on him. Nearly pushes his head into fucking fire like fucking Darth Vader did to Obi-Wan Kenobi on the show. Now again, we know that Strom is trying to take some shit out. So now we finally meet Harry Osborn, one of Peter Parker's nastiest schoolmates. I don't get it, Dad. Why would Spider-Man try to burn down your plant? Don't believe everything you hear, Harry. It wasn't Spider-Man. Someone else is behind this. But who? None of your blasted business. Harry, don't you ever shut up. I can't tell the kid how I cheated Professor Strom out of his inventions, and they railroaded him to jail when he began to threaten me. It has to be Strom. I was at the club when I heard the news. Don't worry, Norman. Spider-Man won't get away with this. We're not sure he's the one, Jonah. So again, we've already used that Jonah thinks Spider-Man is the one behind all the ransom. Jonah, of course, is a skinflint, doesn't want to have to kick up. The mayor wants all the richest people in Empire City to kick up for extra security to secure the Mars colony. The Mars colony, of course, is our big trophy at the end of the story that we're saving right now, is that the Sinister Six are threatening to ransom and destroy it if they're not paid a hefty sum. We have a good old-fashioned just terrorist, we're going to destroy the Mars colony. The Mars colony is a big deal to Empire City. Everything outside of Empire City is not doing well. We have to keep bringing that up into our story. Spider-Man as a hero can not only save Empire City and root out the corruption, he might just be able to start a spark of energy that rebuilds the rest of our world. Perhaps post-apocalyptic? That's a smart boy you got there, Norman. I like the way he sums up a situation. He should. He should. That's it. We got to do something. Well, if there's anything I can do for a fellow club member, I'll call you if I need you, Jonah. So again, they introduce Harry Osborn as Norman Osborn is very cold-hearted. There's a reason why his kid's a tool with a stupid-looking fucking haircut. He's following him as Patch the Stoolie. And again, this is just again showing up Professor Strom. Now, if I remember this correctly, when Spider-Man gets involved in this, and the other robots that come around, and he drops the tracers on him, and there's Patch, and there's Max Young. Again, I was not a fan of this issue. I can't stand the robot issues. But what I remember, yeah, was that somebody had a gun from outside again. So I remember, so Strom's going crazy. He got the revenge. They blast in. He's going to beat the fuck out of Norman Osborn here. You can't get away with it. They'll catch you. Again, this is the robot trying to kill Norman Osborn for stealing fucking Strom's shit. Good old fashioned revenge story of Norman Osborn is rich now, but he's not all that claims to be, and the guilt turns him into the Green Goblin. Again, it happens. We all have our guilts. I have guilt. He runs away. He smashes Spider-Man over the fucking head. The robot's trying to come in to kill him. Norman knows what he's got to do. But of course, this is the big mystery is that somebody shoots Norman. His assistant, his cellmate here. We think it's him, but it's not because he's caught. But again, what Peter doesn't realize, he's like, oh my God, it took me 2 seconds to get up here. He could have vanished so soon. But we didn't realize that we learned later on, Norman is flying on the fucking Goblin Copter, and he's the one doing all the killing. I heard him on the radio. They caught Professor Strom. He was found dead. And as it turns out, wait, did I miss the part where he shoots? Yes. Somebody's out there. There's too much at stake. I've got too much to lose. I can't take the chance of spilling the beans about me. So now we obviously know it's fucking Norman Osborn because they just left it out there that it is. But we don't know, of course. What we won't realize till a couple of issues later is that Norman Osborn's the bloody Green Goblin. That crooked ex-partner of yours was to blame for those attacks. He can't bother you anymore. Some people can never be reformed like that blasted Spider-Man. You know I'm all heart. See you at the club, Norman. Spider-Man was ruined everything for me, but it won't happen again. Now that his suspicions have been aroused, he must be disposed of. So of course we need of course the meeting between Peter and the mayor. Peter and Norman Osborn. It could be another answer. Am I losing my spider sense? It could mean the beginning of the end for Spider-Man. I better not even think about it. He's too good for us, huh? Guys like him don't want to know nobody. They'd rather go around the world without a care in the world. While waiting to see the more of the mysterious Mr. Osborn, we'll toss a new villain at you. Enough said. We'll knock them together. That issue is all about just getting basically Norman Osborn into the canon. What is it about this Norman Osborn? Of course, they didn't really leave any Green Goblin stuff yet. We are in the know. So again, you can't just do that in a story. You can't say, "Ooh, cute, cute." Norman Osborn is secretly the Green Goblin because it's already known. So if we're bringing that into the story, we're either just going to come right out and say it, or we can allude that he is, and then somebody else is the Green Goblin. We could pull a fucking Mandarin. So, all right, where are we? We need a little dialogue before we move on here. I wouldn't say that issue was very helpful for us, but again, it's just fun to rip through the Spider-Man canon. It is homework. With his line cut, Peter crashes into a wall. What do we have here line-wise? Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with dangerous objects from outer space? I mean, we need dialogue here. You can have someone talking shit to him right now. Yeah, there we go. All right. I don't like non-dialogue unless it's dramatic. Unless you need no dialogue there because the shot is that important. Here we go. Uncle Ben over the radio. Hey, kid. Kid. Cut off. Peter then rolls into a dumpster, which turns and crashes. All you really need there is, hey, kid, kid. Uncle Ben's cut off, right? Voice. Uh, voice over in distance. Craven. We hear a voice taunting Peter, taunting Spider-Man as he rolls down the wall to crash into the dumpster. You're making quite a name for yourself. You're making quite a name for yourself, Disruptor. You're making quite a name for yourself, Disruptor. Or should I call you Peter? You're making quite a name for yourself, Disruptor. Or should I call you Peter? So actually, you can move the voice here. Let's move the voice. You're making quite a name for yourself, Disruptor. And then you put, or should I call you Peter? There we go. Or should I call you Peter? Looking up from his haze, Spider-Man sees what appears to be Kraven the Hunter stalking over him. Spider-Man, who are you? Not yet. We need the who are you there. Okay. Who are you? Oh, these fucking junk mails. Who are you? So you can have him do Bane. It doesn't matter who we are. All that matters is our plan. Let's see. Your quest for fame has blinded you. Your quest for fame has blinded you. Or have you forgotten me already? Your quest for fame has blinded you. Or have you forgotten me already? Looking up from his haze, Spider Man sees what appears to be Kraven the Hunter stalking over him. Who are you? Your quest for fame has blinded you. Or have you forgotten me already? Can't be. I watched you. You can have Peter trying to say, I can't be. I can't. I watched you. Spider-Man will attempt to strike up at him, but in his weakened state, Craven will electroshock him. Best effects of the electroshock. All right, I'm having fun here now, so fuck it. Let me go. Let me do my thing here. Die! Like Spider-Man's trying to shock up at him. He hits him with an electroshock, which could be a little allusion to Electro. Spider-Man will attempt to strike up at him, but in his weakened state, Craven will electroshock him. Best effects of the electroshock. Craven will choke Spider-Man and taunt him. So it's true. He really did kill that son of a bitch. I watched you die when he shocks him. So it's true. He really did kill that son of a bitch. I mean, you could have a total exposition here and a flashback. We're looking to get towards page 12, so this pretty much is the first half of the story. You can end the first half with Chameleon just revealing himself and saying, "Look, dude, you killed my dad. I just killed your fucking dad. Now we're even. However, you have something I need." So it's true. I don't want him choking him yet because he's going to need that when he says to him, "I need to touch you to get your abilities." Okay, we're oh, yay! I'm having fun. All right, here we go. Spider-Man will attempt to strike up at him, but in his weakened state, Cleveland will electroshock him. Will electroshock him. Okay, good. Close up on Craven as he hits a button on his lapel that starts to warp his appearance. So it's true. You really did kill that son of a bitch. All right, let's add another panel here. It's the little things we do. It's the little things. All right. So it's true. Okay, so close up on Craven, he hits a button on his lapel that starts to warp his appearance. In the shadowy haze, we see that Craven has morphed into what looks like the chameleon. So it's true. He really did kill that son of a bitch. Oh, where's our paragraph? Here we go. I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have been there. I guess I owe you one, Spider-Man. But then again, I guess you owe me. I wish I could have been there. I guess I owe you one, Spider-Man. But then again, I guess you owe me. Our web is entangled. You see, I'm the one who killed your parents. Just comes right out and tells me. In the shadowy haze, we see that Craven has morphed into what looks like the chameleon. I wish I could have been there. I guess I owe you one, Spider-Man. But then again, I guess you owe me. Our web is entangled. You see, I'm the one who killed your parents. Now we can either flashback it here, or Peter's got to go to the lab and look it up. I mean, is it cheesy if he just comes right out and fucking tells him? We have time here. Peter just fucking crashed into a goddamn wall. Chameleon cut his line. We can have another page of exposition here and flashback, which can bridge the rest of our scene. It pretty much ends the first half. We can do that. Or Chameleon backs the fuck off right now and lets Peter just leaves that. We can leave. We gotta make a decision here as writers. Do we want to leave this fucking thing here like a big matzo ball? We want to just get to it and have Chameleon just lay out his origin. I wish I could have been there. I guess I owe you one, Spider-Man. But then again, I guess you owe me. Our web is entangled. You see, I'm the one who killed your parents. See, maybe no. He needs to hit him with these shock because he wouldn't feel confident to tell him that unless he just fucking shocked the shit out of him. You can't move the shock. You can shock him again like the Emperor hits fucking like the Emperor hits Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I like this. Okay, let's go. Let's go to page 10. Chameleon, Ben showing up like a deep fake, gets close. He will fuck with Teeter until backing off, and this is what we're doing. We're doing all this right now. Whatever we don't use, looks like he will reveal himself the chameleon who killed Peter's parents. He will fuck with Peter until backing off, almost disappearing as Ben. All right, so let's keep that here. That's what we have here notes wise. Chameleon hits hits Spider-Man again with his shock stick, which looks like the Emperor, hitting Luke Skywalker in the Death Star. In Return of the. Remember, you got to give as many references as possible to your artists so they can't say, what the fuck are you talking about? The Chameleon hits. And I also send reference pictures, which I'll send. We'll get to that when we get to the art part. It's the fun part. It's all the fun part. We're writing fucking comic books. What's not fun? The Chameleon hits Spider-Man again with a shock stick, which looks like the Emperor hitting Luke Skywalker in the Death Star in Return of the Jedi with Force Lightning. SFX of the Electro Shock. I know that's I know that's quite the shocking revelation. Oh, I like that play on words. I know that's quite the shocking revelation, which is why I will take precautions. I know that's quite the shocking revelation, but I'm not here. I'm not here to taunt you. I'm merely providing mercy as a courtesy. I know that's quite the shocking revelation, but I'm not here to taunt you. I'm merely providing mercy as a courtesy for you killing my father, correcting my one failure. We want that. That's too obvious. Correcting my one failure. You're for killing my father. Maybe you shouldn't say that yet. We know we want to get there. Chameleon's fucked up. He's the mirror image of Spider-Man. He's weaker. We need that. We need that cool dynamic for this first issue. The Chameleon hits Spider-Man again with his shock stick, which looks like the Emperor hitting Luke Skywalker in the Death Star in Return of the Jedi, with Force Lightning. S effects of the electroshock. I like that. Like it even says, I know that's quite the shocking revelation. I know that's quite the shocking revelation. But I'm not here to taunt you. I'm merely providing mercy. As a courtesy, of course. I know that's quite the shocking revelation. But I'm not here to taunt you. I'm merely providing mercy. Not merely. I'm actually providing mercy. As a courtesy, of course. My employers my employers wanted your head. I like this. I know that's quite the shocking revelation. Look, as a writer, you're going to repeat lines 1,000 times. You can't do it, get out of the business. I know that's quite the shocking revelation, but I'm not here to taunt you. I'm actually providing mercy. As a courtesy, of course. My employers wanted your head. My employers wanted your head. So you don't have that have a close up. See, chameleon. Oh, I like this. Okay. We can really, really have some fun with this power. Remember, I was always saying, you don't just say technology. You don't just assume that the powers are the powers. You got to get into the mythology. It helps with the characterization. All right. Close up as the chameleon. You can have him revealing his powers to Spider-Man while he's fucking with him. Comes in close and grabs Spider-Man by the throat, holding his head and face close as a scanner from his eye starts. Oh, I love this. Starts to scan, starts to laser scan Spider Man's face. I know that's quite the shocking revelation. I'm not here to taunt you. I'm actually providing mercy. As a courtesy, of course. My employers wanted your head, but I negotiated. But I negotiated on your behalf. Because you have something I need. As a courtesy, of course. My employers wanted your head, but I negotiated on your behalf. Close up on Spider-Man's skull and face as the chameleon finishes his deep fake scan, picking up all the features of Spider-Man's face and DNA scan. Almost like the Predator and the infrared scan of the faces of his victims. Boosh! SFX of micro scanning Spider-Man's face. Oh, I love when you just start writing and it just starts flowing out and feeling good. So the idea is the chameleon. We start to get a little piece of the chameleon's powers. It can't just be, hey, I could be you. I look at you, I see you, I be you. I fucking hate that. He's got to scan the face, or he's up. Oh god, close up on Spider-Man's skull and face is the chameleon, but I negotiate on your behalf. Close up on Spider-Man's skull and face as the chameleon finishes his deepfake scan, picking up all the features of Spider-Man's face and DNA scan, almost like the Predator infrared scan. You see a lot of the same shit over and over again just to make sure your fucking artist says, okay, I know what you're fucking talking about, asshole. Okay. We are no different. We are no different, Peter. Orphans. Extraordinary orphans. Extraordinary orphans. We are no different, Peter. Extraordinary orphans. What happened to your parents wasn't personal, at least from my end. But they did have. No, it should be personal. Fuck you. Extraordinary orphans. I'd like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. You see, Peter, I was one of their experiments. Oh, I fucking love it. Oh, I fucking love it. I love it. We get a personal connection. Why the chameleon hates the Parkers? Were they good scientists or were they just fucking mercenaries for hire? With Peter just being this weird offspring of their love for each other. What is the truth of Peter's parents? Were they agents working for Spectre? Oh, we're just getting some backstory out here. Now we're fucking around. We are no different, Peter. Extraordinary orphans. I'd like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. You see, Peter, I was one of their experiments. Just like you. Oh, I like it. We are no different, Peter. Extraordinary orphans. I'd like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. You see, Peter, I was one of their experiments. Just like you. So now you can explain the whole fucking thing. Or, we are no different, Peter. Extraordinary orphans. I'd like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. See, Peter, I was one of their experiments. Just like you. All right, so we need some revelation here. All right, let's look into this next issue. But again, this is an example of, I guess, some politics. This is, I believe, this is either Ditko's final issue or this is when Romita takes over. Steve Ditko and Stan Lee got to a major showdown about who the Green Goblin was supposed to be. Stan Lee won, Ditko took off, but obviously this is a filler issue. They just throw in some fucking boxer who gets powers and fights Spider-Man. Now I love Spider-Man, but I have to admit the Stan Lee run got a little annoying. And this became a really badass comic book when like fucking Jerry Conway took over. So that being said, we need to finish our page here. So let's go through our rest of our homework. We did this one already. Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah. There we go. Let's get the rest of our lines. We have 3 more panels to do before our assignment today is done. Just a guy named Joe. I gotta tell you, I was never a big fan of this one. This was the boxer that everybody fucks with him. He's kind of a fucking loser. Gets his ass kicked all the fucking time. But again, we don't dismiss anything. Let's go through it again because it's Spider-Man history. This is Ditko, and actually, this is Ditko's final issue. We get to enjoy Steve Ditko's final work on Spider-Man. He gets him an extra, like a just it's fucking stupid. But let's just see if there's anything we could pull out of here. When Locke Hudson hears about you, Bela Lugosi. This is the '60s. They're talking about the monster villains. Joe's kind of a loser. They give him a stupid little fucking outfit. Our idea, our challenge is to find something, one element. Is there something inside this issue that we can use in our script so that it has purpose towards our class besides just being useless filler homework? What happened in the beginning? He gets hit with something. We have the electroshock, but we used it already, so that doesn't count. Live wires, but apparently the live wires gave him super fucking powers. I always hated this fucking one. All the secretaries quit. Peter's wearing the yellow vest and the fucking the turtleneck. Coffee pensions, profit sharing. They all want coffee breaks, pension funds, profit sharing. Again, we having some fun looking at Jonah here. Ned leads. And it turns out they both don't know where Betty is. Each one thinks they're fucking Betty. Neither one of them are fucking Betty. He wants to get married. Betty takes off. But again, what happens eventually is that Peter starts falling in love with Gwen Stacy and loses all of his love for Betty. Does Betty mean nothing to you? They start to draw Peter looking pretty good, though. He's starting to become more confident in himself. It's the one good thing we're getting out of this right now. But again, it's just him beating up all the fucking extras. He has a fighter's heart. He flips the fuck out. He fucks up all the cameras. He's got super strength. Peter's walking around, throws a bag at his fucking head, shoots a couple of webs on the fucking guy, jumps up, punches him in the face. Guy punches him in the face, double fucking axe handle. Punch him, kick him, throw him into the fucking wall. Everybody's having a good fucking time. Thanks for the lift, Harry. Don't mention it, Pa. Can Flash and I borrow the car for the rest of the evening? Sure, why not? Now, so again, this is where they started arguing. Keep my little appointment. My identity is of no importance. You called us together to do a job for you, and you won't even tell us who you are. I'm prepared to pay handsomely to ensure that Spider-Man never interferes with me again. Okay, so we have disguise going on here. We could work in something where the chameleon tries to become the mayor. Look, when it's Flash Thompson and Harry Osborn. I know the Shooting Charter members of the Let's Hate Peter Parker Club. So we got protesting going on here. They're protesting. Peter's not into the fucking protest. Go back to Squaresville. Don't you ever lose your temper, Motop? Sure, but not when a big zero like you was around that tries to goad me. So Gwen likes Peter. All right, we know that. The one thing we get out of this is I've got my guy for this cover, since we did Slave Leia Mary Jane and Frozen Peter, we're doing a Slave Leia Gwen Stacy. and Frozen Green Goblin, which we already talked about. So again, we can't say that that counts. A certain party has offered a reward to the man who finally beats Spider-Man. A reward big enough to put you on Easy Street permanently. So they put a bounty on Spider-Man's head. This is Norman Osborn. Look at Parker trying to make like a scientist. My old man forgot more about science than he'll ever know. All right, so now we're talking about Norman Osborn. Betty Brant's coming back into the world. All right, we got a bounty. The one thing we might pull out of this is a bounty. We got this boxer asshole. I always hated this fucking. This was a filler story. Spider-Man beats everybody up. All the fucking boxers used to fuck with him. He's now fucking with them. He's beating everybody down. He's got to fight the fucking boxer. But I remember the fucking like the dummy and the thing reminds him of Ned Leeds. Electrified chemicals which splash you cause you to run amok. Oh, you're so fucking stupid. Hated this fucking issue. Spider-Man decides he's gonna piss off moves. He's gonna fuck up all the burglars. Then the guy reminds him of Ned Leeds, so he punches the dummy. What's this again? Oh, this is Mary Jane. I'm so sorry you can't stay with us any longer, Mary Jane. I'm sure Peter will be home any minute. They always hide Mary Jane behind a fucking plant. Joe Smith has signed a 5-year contract with the International Broadcasting Network to star in a new superhero series, Mr. Smith. So that guy becomes an actor. It's just. Well, sleep well, Pete. I'm glad you turned off the TV. Some of those news items give a body nightmares. Not much chance in my case, Aunt May. I only have them when I'm awake. I hated this issue. I'm sorry I did. When we get towards 39, which I'm not sure if we'll use for this class, we'll see what we get through here. This is our little battle between Peter and the Green Goblin. Now, again, we've introduced this to the cover of this one. We'll be going through the Goblin through future classes. We're just not using it today. What I like that we got going on here is we've been inspired to have Chameleon take Peter down, but also reveal, which we just got out of this today, is that before the spider bites Peter and all that shit's going on, his parents we got no different Peter, extraordinary orphans. I like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. You see, Peter, I was one of their experiments, just like you. Dropping Spider-Man back to the ground, the chameleon starts to back off. Starts to back off and move away from Peter, from him. Dropping Spider-Man back to the ground, the chameleon starts to back off and move away from him. I like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. You see, Peter, I was one of their experiments, just like you. Yours, you can say it was an accident. You can even say it was fate. But I didn't have a choice. My father dragged me. Eh, that's too cheesy. He's saying chameleon. I mean, you see, Peter, I was one of their experiments, just like you. You could say it was an accident. You could even say it was fate. But you're a soldier. Nah. You could say it was an accident. You can even say it was fate. But neither one of us had a choice back then. Now we're both soldiers. Only I'm on the side that pays well. So consider this a warning and move on with your life. Dropping Spider-Man back to the ground, the chameleon starts to back off and move away from him. You could say it was an accident. You can even say it was fate. But neither one of us had a choice back then. And now we're both soldiers. And now we're both soldiers of fortune. I like that. Now we're both soldiers of fortune. Only I'm on the side that pays well. So consider this a warning and move on with your life. The chameleon is legitimately giving Spider-Man a chance to deck the fuck out because he killed his father. He doesn't need to say it outright. That's kind of cheesy if he does. He said, that son of a bitch is dead. He's literally saying to Peter, you did me a favor. You killed that fucking son of a bitch for me. Doesn't have to say it because he's my daddy and I have daddy issues. Again, too obvious. You can dress it up. You can dance around with it. My employers wanted your head, but I negotiated on your behalf. What he's simply saying is instead of fucking killing him, let's use him as a patsy. I'm loving this fucking scene here. So it's true. He really did kill that son of a bitch. I wish I could have been there. I guess I owe you one, Spider-Man. But then again, I guess you owe me. Our web is entangled. You see, I'm the one who killed your parents. I know that's quite the shocking revelation, but I'm not here to taunt you. I'm actually providing mercy. As a courtesy, of course. My employers wanted your head, but I negotiated on your behalf. We are no different, Peter. Extraordinary orphans. I like to say what happened to your parents wasn't personal, but it was. You see, Peter, I was one of their experiments. Just like you. You could say it was an accident. You could even say it was fate. But neither one of us had a choice back then. And now we're both soldiers of fortune. Only I'm on the side that pays well. So consider this a warning and move on with your life. Leave. All right, I like that. The image of the chameleon starts to disappear as it's both as it's a mix of Peter of Spider-Man hallucinating from his electroshock and the chameleon disguising himself and slipping away into the night. Uncle Ben comes barreling through the haze to assist to rescue Peter, rescue Spider-Man. Hey, the Horn of Atlantis. Peter, once recovered from his injury, will confront Ben about helping him learn the truth about his parents and their scientific experiments, which could play into the world in chaos beyond Empire City. After the Civil War. God, but you're playing the world in chaos. Like he can even say, listen, Empire City is the only thing going down after the country fell into civil war. Peter's parents were scientists. Problem is, they may have been working for the wrong side. Ooh, question, question, question. Something for us to play with tomorrow. Next class, we got to finish this page, though. We've got 2 more dialogue panels to do. If we want, we could dive into the next issue, into here, into page 39, into issue 39. We could save it for the next class. The image of the chameleon starts to disappear as it's a mix of Spider-Man hallucinating from his electroshock and the chameleon disguising himself and slipping away into the night. The chameleon says quite simply, leave Empire City. Immediately. Leave Empire City. Immediately. So consider this a warning and move on with your life. Leave Empire City. Immediately. Uncle Ben comes barreling through the haze to rescue Spider-Man. We see Spider-Man passing out as Uncle Ben arrives. Save it. No dialogue needed there. That's it. We got our revelation. The Chameleon comes in and says straight up, dude, I'm the one who killed your fucking parents. You did me a favor. You took out Craven for me. So this is a warning. My employers wanted me to chop your fucking head off. I negotiated. With him saying it is basically, we lead it to him scanning Spider-Man's face, touching it, gripping the skull. He says, look, I negotiate. What he's basically doing is absorbing his fucking features so that he can fucking impersonate him later on. He doesn't tell him his powers. He doesn't need to tell him his powers yet. We can learn about him as he faces off the chameleon. If you reveal too much, again, it's cheesy. Nobody likes exposition dumps. They're fucking awful. I hate them. You drip them. You drip in exposition and you make the art look fucking cool. We literally have the chameleon grabbing fucking Spider-Man's skull, analyzing him so that he can impersonate him later on. So we're leading this to our later on, which I love. And then fucking drops him and says, look, dude, killed your folks, but your folks were bad people. They experimented on me. He just drops that vague shit, which will lead us to, again, it ends with Uncle Ben coming through the haze. Chameleon's disappeared. Uncle Ben's come to fucking save him. So now we'll get to our next class, page 11 and 12, where we're going to close out the first half by getting the revelation about Peter's parents. Take me to the lab. I want to know what the fuck they were doing. Were they bad people, or were they good people working for the wrong side, either by force or by naivety, or they didn't know? Were they working by force, or did they not know who they were working for. Peter and Ben will have to investigate, which essentially gives our first story an origin and a villain connected to the origin while also introducing his employers for later on. Peter gets vengeance for his parents' death, but also learns of their skeletons. Yay! All right, kids, that's our fucking class, man. Hope you enjoyed yourself. May fate and fate decide your fortune, and if you should enjoy this, buy a textbook for the AracKnight 1. We're going to have art for it soon. Right now, it's the script. 80-page script for a 24-page comic book. Laid out dialogue, laid out panels, laid out directions. And a Mary Jane slave Leia cover. Can't beat that shit, kid. Peace, love, and war. All that shit in between.